UN's war on global warming is fast becoming a people's movement. And in regard to this war, the world has fully recognized Ban Ki-moon and Al Gore as two climate warriors par excellence. United Nations has also won a decisive victory on the knowledge cum science front. Oslo, the headquarters of the Nobel Prize Committee, has become the Waterloo of skeptics of the science of global warming. Secretary General Ban Ki-moon describes the victory of global warming science in these words. Largely thanks to the IPCC's lucid and well-documented findings, it is now established that climate change is happening and that much of it is caused by human activity. As a result, there is now unprecedented momentum for action on climate change around the world and recognition of the UN as the forum. But stop! Here is a great warning. The war on global warming is very weak on the political front. This poses a great danger. A defeat on this front could mean a disaster. Politicians are dithering. Many governments, especially that of USA, Australia, Russia, China, and India, etc., are searching escape routes to avoid compliance to cut emissions. Unfortunately, they are the ones who are bringing the planet closer to disaster with their carbon emissions. People all over the world will be more than happy to see Ban Ki-moon and Al Gore working together to bring around the dithering politicians. This year's Nobel Prize shows Gore and Ban walking in the same direction, trying to reach the same goal. They echo each other, but they are working from different platforms. Their grand and holy alliance will strengthen the political front of the United Nations war on global warming. Innumerable pro-Earth politicians, activists, and organizations will happily join this alliance, and there is no dearth of such forces. We all know the unflinching stand taken by the German Chancellor Angela Merkel, who would not be satisfied without getting commitments of binding targets in reducing emissions of greenhouse gases. The new President of France, Nicolas Sarkozy, has pledged a radical overhaul of the environmental policy. Then there is the President of Indonesia, Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono. He is emerging as the voice of the forest nations to safeguard their green zones. The Governor of California, Arnold Schwarzenegger, is yet another shining icon of this movement. Last year in 2006, he became the first to sign a statewide cap on the emission of greenhouse gases. Senator Hillary Clinton, the presidential candidate, is the latest entrant in the war on global warming. On November 5, she said that if elected, she would negotiate a climate treaty by 2010, which would be a successor to the Kyoto Protocol. She also assured to enable America to lead global green revolution and reduce U.S. carbon emissions by 80% by 2050. The most recent development is the result of the Australian elections announced on November 24, 2007. The Labour Party leader Kevin Rudd has won basically on his promise to sign the Kyoto Protocol, which Australia has refused so far. There is no dearth of pro-Earth activists in the world either. Study the life and works of a Canadian environmental activist, Sheila Watt-Cloutier. Recipient of scores of awards, including the Sophie Award and the Mahabubul Haq Award, she has changed the lot and plight of her Inuit community single-handedly. Wangari Maathai is yet another example in Kenya. Her works on climate change issue won her the Nobel Prize in 2004. Her Green Belt movement in Africa has helped empowerment of the African woman financially and also cutting down carbon dioxide. She inspired the UNEP's Plant for Planet campaign to grow 1 billion trees worldwide by the end of 2007. Thousands more are working silently across the planet. A decisive battle is coming up very soon. On December 3, 2007, 10,000 delegates of 192 governments will meet in Bali, Indonesia. In Bali, they will discuss the strategies to save the planet. They will prepare a blueprint of a new treaty as a successor to the Kyoto. Bali is going to be the testing ground for Ban and his team. It will also test Al Gore's influence on the minds of the people gathering there. It will also test the power of the IPCC scientists and their skeptics on the policymakers. UN's top climate change official, Yves de Boer, has already given a strict warning to the dithering politicians in these words. What is new is the clarity of the signal, how clear the scientific message is. Politicians have no excuse not to act. He said this in Valencia, Spain, where the pro-UN scientists under IPCC met during a 5-day meeting ending November 17th. Still, in regard to its results, fears still loom large. But for those of us who sincerely wish UN a grand success, there is message of consolation. We are seeing everywhere in the world more and more politicians, activists, and organizations coming out in the open who believe that war on global warming must be won and that United Nations is the most appropriate forum to fight it.